One afternoon several years ago when we were driving in the car, our oldest son from the back seat, we were just on a road trip, it had been a long drive, and he said, "Daddy, tell me a story." And he specified, "I want to hear a story about something that really happened." So he wanted a history story. And so, with a good deal of inspiration from a Christian friend who is obsessed with storytelling in every culture, this is the story that I told my son. Once upon a time, all the people on earth had everything they needed, and they were happy. Everyone had a perfect place to live, a perfect family, and lots of good food. And they were very happy. But then a dragon came. And the dragon promised the people that he could make them even more rich and more happy than they already were. And who wouldn't want that, right? So the people left all the wonderful things they had, and they followed the dragon to his land, where they would live near his lair, because he promised them better things if they followed him. But the dragon tricked them. That dragon was a liar. He made them give up the perfect place that they had to live, and their families weren't as happy anymore, and they lost all the good food. And you know what the dragon actually gave them? Nothing. Nothing at all. Even though he said he would, he was a liar. And when they realized what had happened, all the people were very, very sad. So for a long time after that, many brave soldiers came from among the people and said that they would go and fight the dragon, and they would beat him, and they would free the people from the dragon. They went into his lair with big swords and shields and ropes and traps, and they went bravely into his lair again and again and again to fight against the dragon with all their best weapons. But all of them failed. None of those brave fighters ever came back. So a long time passed. A really long time went by. And after it had been such a long time that all but a few people had given up hope that the dragon would ever be beaten, a carpenter, not a soldier this time, not a fighter, but someone who builds things, he came to the people and said, "I'll go beat the dragon for you." Well, the people didn't believe that he could do it, but he knew that he could. He had a sword and a shield like all the others, and he took them with him as he walked to the dragon's lair. But just before he went in, he laid down his sword, and he left his shield at the door before he went into the lair of the dragon. Matter of fact, he didn't even take his carpenter's tools. No hammers, no saws, nothing in his hands at all. And so with no weapons that anyone could see, he walked calmly and bravely into the dark lair of the dragon from which no one had ever returned. Well, obviously the people couldn't believe it. And now they were sure that the dragon had killed him like all the others, because he had nothing to fight with. And they didn't see him at all that day. And they didn't see him the next day. But on the third day, as the sun was rising, all those sad people looked to the opening of the dragon's lair, and they saw the carpenter standing in front of the opening. They thought that he was dead, but there he was. And he had beaten the dragon. And so how, you might ask, did he beat that old dragon, that trickster from long ago? He had no sword, he had no shield, no tools. So how did he do it? He beat him with words. Because he remembered that long, long, long ago, the dragon had been a liar from the beginning. And he had been the trickster who had taken advantage of those people. And he knew that since the dragon's power was that of a lie, the only thing that could beat him was the truth. And so he beat the dragon, with just a word. Well, when the people saw the carpenter on that third day, they were so happy. And they ran to him as fast as they could, and he told them, "The dragon is gone forever. You can have everything back that he took from you." And the carpenter led the people out of the dragon's land and back into their own land. He gave the people all the good things they had before, plus even more riches and even healthier families and even better food than they had before. And all the people were so happy and so thankful that they made the carpenter the king of their land and the king over all of his people. And he always protected them with his words. And he was always kind to every one of them. And so all the people lived happily ever after. So when I told him that story, my son asked me, "Daddy, did that really happen?" And I said, "Yes, son, that really happened." Today we eat and drink in honor of the Carpenter King who laid down his life and to whom God gave his life again so that we would not be ruled by that liar from Ancient of Days, by that dragon who would destroy humanity. Today we eat and drink in his honor, and what a privilege it is to do so. Let's enjoy the communion with the Lord.